It's a very good morning to the Gelding on a wet, I could say very wet, but it's been wetter up north Gelding, but a wet day for racing at Flemington quarters, but it's a track that can certainly take plenty of rain before it starts showing any wear and tear.
Well, Professor, you've heard me say before, good morning to yourself and good morning to the listeners, but you've heard me say before, it's the best racetrack in Australia, and if not, probably as close to being as good as anywhere in the world. It has a tremendous capacity to soak up the rain. And, here we are on the soft 6 at the moment. And, sorry, the racing manager's already talking about upgrades if it doesn't rain this afternoon, Professor. You're talking about possibly being a soft 5 after that rain if it doesn't rain this afternoon. But it does look a bit black and sultry out there, Professor. So I think we will get showers. Of course, I'm hoping not for showers for another sport of cricket. My club, McKinnon's first 11 playing in a final against Mentone today. So luckily the covers went on Thursday night. So hopefully that'd protect the wicket from any damage. And of course, McKinnon finishing second have to play and win. So let's hope they get on board. But more importantly, let's find some winners for our listeners, Professor, on a rather sad day in sport.
Yes, well, it's been a sad week for cricket, Gelding. Rod Marsh and then Shane Warne.
Shane Ward's certainly a shock. Rod Marsh, a great knock of, being the age of 74, but then within, 3 or 4 days, you hear about Warney at 52. That's way too young, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, Gelding. It is. All right, Gelding. Well, the track at Flemington's a soft 6 at the moment. Which way that goes depends on whether it rains or not. A 9-race card, the first at 12:35 p.m. The feature race, the Group 1 Australian Guineas, race 7. But you and I aren't picking in that race today, Gelding.
Yeah, so we're leaving the main race alone, Professor. There's 5 or 6 chances in this, and too hard to pick. I might be having a little bit on Pinstripe, Professor, as an interest, and Allegron, but Profondo's a very, very good horse. Captivant's a very good horse. Forgot You, we've been on. There's possibly 8 or 9 horses here that could win this race quite easily. And could be quite reasonable. And you say, oh, why didn't I back that? But a very, very open race. So we're trying to find your winners. Sometimes in those races, it's not good betting strategy. So we'll leave that one alone, Professor.
All right. Well, we're leaving that one alone. But what are your 2 best bets for today's races at Flemington?
Well, I'm hoping for the number 1 to come up, Professor, today. First bet, both will be round about the $2.25, but I think very good parlay bets. I like Overpass in race 5, Professor. This horse is down from Sydney, beyond Baker. Has come down, obviously, to miss the big wet up in Sydney. On a soft track, it's had 2 starts for 2 wins. It's a Vancouver colt, 11 starts, 4 wins, 2 seconds. Professor, 2 starts ago in the Expressway over 1200, this horse beat Forbidden Love and Animo. So, you know what, I'm probably one of Animo's biggest fans, and Forbidden Love won last week by 5 lengths in the wet of Sydney. So it's coming down, Professor, and was able to get $2.25. I think it's around about the $2.15 at the moment, but that will do. And then we'll go into the Blamey Stakes. the Group 2. A horse I was happy to pick to win the Cox Plate, Professor. So I think I'm happy to back it first up in Zaki. Again, round about the $2.25. Annabelle Neesham's brought it down here to have its first run after missing a 1300 earlier on. Jamie Carr goes on board, replacing James McDonald. I don't think that really affects the horse. We have a horse here that has had 30 starts for 10 wins, 3 seconds, and a third, Professor. But first up, 6 starts for 3 wins, a second and a third. So it's won 50% of its races first up. 5 out of 6 it's been placed. So as I said, I rate this horse probably in the top 5 in Australia. So I'm happy to be on at black figure odds. Of course, everyone around the place seems to be tipping Inspirational Girl after its return the other week. Damien Lane, Danny O'Brien. Look, the horse is 3 out of 3 second up. So, and again is a very, very good horse. I'm just hoping Zaki's quality will just get it through, Professor. So I'm race 5, number 1, Overpass, into race 6, number 1, Zaki. And you like, Professor?
Yeah, Gelding, just before I go on, I just had a look at Overpass. It's now into $1.95. So there's obviously people think it's going to go okay today.
Well, I suppose when you got that form, and I think if you look at the ratings, it's rated 13 points higher than the next best horse in the field. So, that's classed as above. So, it's a set weight and penalties. And it comes in with 59.5, and the bottom weight is 55. So, when a horse is 13 rating points higher than the second best horse, and all it does is have to give the field 4.5 kilos. We'll see. But anyway, there's obviously a bit of confidence about it. And both of those horses, I will say, Professor, have performed on soft tracks.
Excellent work, Gelding. All right, my 2 choices for today. The first is in race 4, a Group 3 over 1,400 metres, and I like in that race, Gelding, horse 3, Cirileo Miss, coming out of barrier 10. It's had 10 starts for 5 wins and 3 placings, so a 50% win rate, which I always rate, and 80% place rate. For our filters, Gelding, it's won in the class, so it's won at Group 3. It won the Ladies' Day Vars at Caulfield. It beat Foxy Frida, Gelding, back in October. One of our horses.
One of the
giraffe's favourite horses.
Oh, the giraffe's favourite horses. I wonder why he followed Foxy Frida.
Well, I'll ask him tomorrow, Gelding.
Okay.
All right. It's also won over the distance, so that I like. It's run 5th in a Group 1 too, which is a pretty good outing. Linda Meach is in the saddle today, Gelding. Her career win rate's 14%, but over her last 50 has been 24%, so that's a huge increase. And Simon Wilde, who we don't talk about very often on this program, splits his time between Warrnambool and Ballarat. A very good trainer, usually for his career, win rate of 14%, but over the last 50, 26%. So a quarter of the race, more than a quarter of the racehorses he's saddling up are coming home winning, Gelding.
Yes, Professor, and very, very good trainer. Linda Meach, we rate as a jockey. Back from a spell, Professor, and this horse is lightning at its first start. 3 first up runs for 3 wins. Can't get any better than that, Professor. So it's a good horse fresh. And I noticed over the distance, it's had 4 starts over the 1,400 for 2 wins and 2 seconds, Professor. So here you've got a first up specialist at a distance it loves with a good jockey and trainer aboard. So a very, very good bet, Professor, at juicy odds around about the 380, Professor.
It's currently showing $4 on the Tate Gelding, so I would suggest that people get on now.
A very good bet, Professor, and a good way for our parlay to start the day, I would have thought.
Fingers crossed, Gelding. All right, my second choice is in race 8, a 1,000-metre race up the straight. It's a listed race too, and I'm going a little bit out of left field here, Gelding. A horse that probably most of our viewers don't know very much about. Horse 12, It's Me, coming out of barrier 4. It's had 5 wins. It's had 5 starts for 4 wins. So it's got an 80% win and 80% place rate. It's won over the distance. It's won second up. It's won in soft conditions. So it ticks a whole lot of boxes. And currently on the Tate Gelding, it's showing $11. So I think if you can get on for $11, you ought to just... what would Daligan say? Get the super funds out.
Yeah.
But
I don't know about getting the super funds out, Professor.
We bet responsibly.
Yeah, I don't think about getting the super out, but we've both had a cheeky little bet on this, Professor. I thought when you mentioned it, you thought you'd pulled a surprise on me, but when I've told you I've already had a little cheeky bet on it myself. This horse, it was flying back in 2020. It won 4 of its 4 starts, was unbeaten. Trainer had turned down some significant offers from Hong Kong and overseas, Professor, and also Australian people to buy this horse. It was going to be, the next best thing. But unfortunately got injured in October 20, Professor, and has been off the scene basically since then. And they've got it back. It's had 1 run back in a Group 3, and where it ran 6, Professor, only 4 lengths off Step Dancer, who's a pretty good horse. So this is a horse that happy to back, and maybe, Professor, an each way special in a very, very hard race.
Yeah, Gelding, you can get $3.10 the place at the moment. So why wouldn't you go for this horse? I must admit, Gelding, I just had a look at the tape. Then it's into $9.50. When I looked at it this morning, first up, it was showing $13. So there are some people who are thinking like us out there, Gelding.
I was on yesterday, Professor, and got a little bit better than that. So they've obviously backed it. So either a lot of people are thinking like us, Professor, or the stable's very confident. So, which is nothing better than saying, this is a very good horse coming back from injury. You're getting fantastic, good each way odds. As you said, you can have a winning bet if it runs a place. It's still a winning bet. So, I like it, Professor. Some good horses in this race, though.
Oh, yeah, Gelding. But another thing I noticed doing the form last night was that Jai McNeil usually rides Enthar, which is another good horse in this race. Not riding Enthar today, riding It's Me. So maybe he knows something as well.
Well, as you said, we've backed Enthar before. I think there's 2 Enthars, isn't there?
Yes.
He's got a bit of a split personality, Enthar. One day when it tries and puts it all together, it's a sensational racehorse. But other days you just go, what the hell happened there? And its last up was one of those runs, Professor. But, you've got Trekking, Brooklyn Hustler, Malkovich that led up in an Oakley Plate a couple of weeks ago, Express Pass, Sort of Mercy, but It's Me at those odds, Professor. I like it.
Only needs to be in the first 3, Gelding.
Yeah, look, 54 kilos, down in the weights, leading jockey, 80% win rate. Lot to like about it, Professor.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's look at the Professor's Parlay.
The very successful Professor's Parlay.
Brought undone Yeah, brought undone by Manchester United last week. I still can't understand how Manchester United can't score one goal, because that's all it would have taken to win the game. Can't score one goal at home.
Who were they playing, Professor?
They were playing Watford.
Right. Now, Watford were on the bottom, weren't they?
Second last, Gelding. So
second last. Oh,
and with a terrible defence.
And Manchester were where?
They were fourth.
Yeah, at home, playing the second bottom side, and can't score a goal.
Yeah.
Questionable.
Very questionable.
We've done the hard work. We've got the horse leg up. You've got the second leg up comfy in the footy. And a spray from the EPL.
Yeah.
You know, I have my hand on my heart every time you pick in the EPL, Professor.
Well, we're off the EPL today.
We're off it. Good to see. And we're on the...
All right. We'll get there, Gelding.
We'll get there.
The agreed horse of the day, race 5, horse 1, Overpass.
Yes.
Into, and here's where I'm going to give the AFLW a spray, Gelding.
Okay.
I did all my research and homework on Brisbane to beat North Melbourne. And I just checked the odds. Now, Adelaide playing Collingwood, Adelaide playing at home, $1.17. Brisbane playing at home, who've only lost one fewer games than Adelaide. Brisbane playing home at $1.51. Now, being a student of the odds, Gelding, I couldn't work out that 40% difference, and it troubled me.
Right.
So I went to the AFLW website. Brisbane aren't playing at home. This match is being played at the Whitten Oval.
Home ground for whose home game is it?
It's Brisbane's home game, but being played at the Whitten Oval. Now, you know the excuse on the website?
And they're playing North Melbourne.
Yeah, due to extreme weather in Queensland, they've moved the game. They couldn't find another ground in Queensland to play it on. They've moved it to the Western Bulldogs home ground.
Can't you play footy in wet weather? And muddy grounds, Professor.
Yeah. Anyway, as luck would have it, I've checked that. So Brisbane to beat North Melbourne is not the tip.
Right.
Tip is Adelaide to beat Collingwood. Now, Adelaide are playing at Norwood Oval, so that's a genuine home ground advantage.
Exactly, Professor. Exactly.
All right.
I like it.
Why Adelaide? Yeah, why Adelaide? Well, they're first on the ladder. They've won 7 of 8. Collingwood are 6th. They've only won 5 from 8. Adelaide, number 3 in points scored, number 1 in best defence. Collingwood, 7th in points scored, 6th in points allowed. So, and the other thing, Gelding, is their 2 prime movers, Britt Bonici and Brianna Davey, have both done ACLs, so they're gone for the season.
Too many knee injuries, Professor.
Yeah.
In women's footy.
Yeah, those two, like Brianna Davey won the league best and fairest in 2021. You can't afford to have somebody like that out of the side. And Bonici was very high in all the awards last year as well. So the 2 prime movers out. I think that's the end of Collingwood for the season, unfortunately. And let's parlay that into the NFLW, and let's hope we do better than the Giraffe's tips last week. He only got one out of 3 last week.
Yeah. I noticed there wasn't a lot of crowing going on.
No.
He normally likes to crow about the tips, but obviously Sarah's beating him in these women's competitions quite comfortably, Professor.
Perhaps he should talk to Sarah about it all, mate.
Exactly. Or just follow Sarah and your tips on the Friday show.
Exactly. All right. Now, Brisbane to beat Newcastle. They've only played 1 game each, but Brisbane won last week and Newcastle lost. Brisbane score heavily. They beat Eastern Suburbs, or Sydney Roosters as they are now. Yes. Beat them 20-4, if you don't mind. So let's get all over Brisbane to win. Now, the Parlay
Where are they
Gelding,
playing that game, Professor?
they're playing at Wynn Stadium in Wollongong.
Okay.
But all 3 games are being played at the same venue, Gelding.
Okay. So that's a difference. Yeah. That's okay.
So it's
well, I like it, Professor. Now tell me the juicy odds we're going to get.
We get 7-2 today, Gelding.
Very good, Professor. I like it. So that's overpass into Adelaide in the AFL Women's and Brisbane in the NFL Women's and
NRL.
NRL, sorry. And all of a sudden we got 7-2. I like it.
So do I, Gelding. All righty. Now, that's racing, but special guest on Sportsfan Radio tomorrow at midday. We've got the former CEO of the Richmond Football Club, the Melbourne Football Club, and the Fremantle Dockers Football Club, and the Melbourne Football Club again.
Yes.
Cameron Schwab, who was on the show in October 2020, just after Richmond won their premiership.
Yes.
Seeing as how he's been CEO of Melbourne, we thought we'd get him on to see what he thinks about Melbourne's win. Very good last time he was on the show. My apologies for missing again, Professor, but cricket commitments. But hopefully that'll be the end of the cricket commitments tomorrow. So looking forward to getting back on the show and listening to it. But I'm sure it'll be a very, very eventful type of show with, I presume, the Giraffe, yourself, Sarah, John and David there. Should be very good. Yeah, looking forward to it, Gelding. All right, that's all from us for today. So until next Saturday, it's good luck.
And good punting.